definitely an experience, and it was more of a traditional kind of lesson with not Suzuki or anything like that. Um, but before that, my mum, she was from a musical family, so her brother is well, he was a classical guitar player, but now he is a professional jazz pianist.
Oh, right.
Oh no, so cool. He's in Scotland. He is my uncle Paul. He has a Steinway piano, so that's quite cool.
Oh,
I
yeah,
know,
it
I
would
know.
be.
Um,
It would be a dream of mine to have a grand piano.
oh, I know, I know. He works his socks off, for that. So practice so hard. And then my granddad, he was the church organist, and my grandma, she was a pianist. And before the war, she was a bit of a prodigy in the fact that she got to like diploma level very quickly, and was very naturally talented, but I had to put it aside. So my mum, she used to surround us with music, and one of the things that she did was she ordered this pack to arrive. I think it was like monthly, and it was like a preschool music pack, and it was this big white envelope that would arrive in the post, and it had in it these pictures, these games, these cassettes, which we were trying to
Yeah.
explain in the first trial run of this, cassette tapes, which you might have to go and Google if you don't know what those are. A bit like CDs, but like from the Stone Age before that.
Stone Age. Oh my gosh. It's as if it was that old. I don't think they were that old.
No. um, but basically, there was music that she would play on the cassettes, and then there was pictures of these teddy bears that represented
Oh,
the note
wow.
values, like Sam the semi-breve and Kay the crotchet,
Yeah.
and there was oral skills and musicianship and everything just put into this cardboard pack, and it would come with colouring and
Oh, wow. Okay.
yeah, percussion. I think I've still got the claves and the maracas from these sets, and I think I've still got the sets and the tapes downstairs somewhere as
Yeah.
well. So I just think it was really innovative to be able to like be that far ahead back then, like all
Yes,
those
that's
years
that's really
ago.
cool because I don't remember growing up with those kind of things.
No.
Like growing up for me, mom's a concert pianist that
Oh,
graduated from London.
wow.
However, my dad is tone deaf and can't sing to save his life.
Oh,
Yeah,
bless him.
yeah, he does try, and he has tried to pick up the saxophone for a while, but without any success,
Oh no.
unfortunately.
He's not
Yeah.
listening, is he?
No, he tries, but
A for enthusiasm.
yeah, yeah. I mean, music is not for everyone. My siblings, we all grew up with music, and all of my siblings have done our instruments up to a high grade. However, I'm the only one that still continue on with music and teaching music. My other siblings are all doctors at the moment, so they have not touched their instruments since they graduated from
No,
university.
there's not much time if
So,
you're a doctor, because my husband's also a doctor, and I know it's very busy, especially if you've just graduated. There's a few
yes,
years of lots of night shifts and
household.
long
Yep,
days to get
yep.
through first.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So yeah, dad does try, even though he's not very musical. So the musicals, I guess my musical side came from mom for me.
Oh, beautiful.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you play the
Now,
piano too?
so actually, piano is my major.
Ah,
So yeah, so piano is my major. I did piano at the Sydney Conservatorium,
mm,
and when I was young, mom came home with a violin when I was about 6 years old, and she was like, "Oh, everywhere you go, people need violin players," which is kind of true. So I picked up the violin. She made me go through that as my second instrument. I didn't quite like it because I'm quite perfect pitch, relative pitch.
yes.
So I wasn't happy. You know how the violin you need to have
Oh,
the
yes.
fingers on the right place. So for
Absolutely.
me, yeah, for me I didn't quite enjoy that because it always sounded wrong for me. I don't know. But
Oh,
yeah.
that's interesting.
Persevered through it, and now I'm an author for, string theory books.
Yes,
So I guess it came out the way it did in a good sense. Yeah.
absolutely. Yes. The
Now, just
perfectionism would have come through in the books to make them really accurate and beautiful.
yes, there was it was a lot of hard work with those books.
I can imagine.
So, yeah. Now, just now you mentioned about traditional lessons. What is a typical traditional lesson for you, or that
Well,
you understand?
I don't think there is such a thing really, because like some people like to just, you know, classify violin teaching into different areas, like different schools or Suzuki and not Suzuki, or so. Uh, I guess it's like what's like normal. Normal is just a concept or traditional. You know, it's um yeah, it was just basically back then it was working through tutor books, step by step, and um, being taught a little bit of technique along the side, and music theory along the side. So yes, it wasn't like the Suzuki method. We didn't. My mum was invited to come and watch lessons, which was nice, but
Ah, okay.
not necessarily every single lesson. Um, but yeah, we went through the books, Stepping Stones and Wagon Wheels, and they were really sweet. But yes, and then we had our music theory books alongside, but they were the associated board ones in the UK.
Yes. Okay.
And I was okay. Yeah, I didn't particularly enjoy them.
No, that's
I wish,
right.
I
That's
wish
right.
there'd been other ones like yours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the trouble for me was when I was doing those theory books was I wasn't able to relate them directly to the violin. So I did struggle because I'm quite, yeah, like I found the whole concepts and transferring them across,
It
especially
it
as I got
seems
older,
yeah, it
harder.
seems quite boring and plain, I
Mm,
guess.
yeah.
And with all this information that, as a young person need to follow through, it's quite difficult to remember names like crotchet, minim, semibriefs. Is a bit different from the American terms. You have half note and whole note and all these things. So I guess, yeah, I did find theory boring as well. But like you said, we did the technical side of it, and then alongside was the theory, like half an hour theory and then half an hour practical lesson. And for me, I found theory a bit boring. It was easy for me, but I found it boring. It's like maths for me is easy, but maths for me is boring as well. So
Oh wow.
I always end up sleeping in class. Sorry, teachers. But yeah, I just like I understood it and I understood the patterns and things like that. But
Yes.
it was so easy that it was so boring. So that's why I came up with Stringtastic. It needs to be engaging, and it's
Oh
not just learning something on paper because all these theories that we have back then were all piano related,
yes.
and you have to be able to learn the piano to understand how they were explaining things like semitones and things like that, which may not relate to a string player if they don't play the piano,
Yeah.
which is why I started up Stringtastic, was trying to make it more engaging for primary school kids, and explaining things like how do you remember scales on a string instrument per se.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fabulous. Such a great concept. And
Yeah.
so it was, I think we're just so glad that someone's gone and done that.
I'm not the only author of strings theory. I know there's plenty of other authors out there. But yeah, it's good to have a selection that teachers can choose from, I guess, in that sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Now, yeah, okay, let's look at the next one. You said that you only played the violin, was it? And a bit of cello and a viola, you were saying?
Yes, I say that I'm an adult cello learner and have been
Same.
taking lessons about, well, I haven't had lessons for about a year because when COVID hit, it all
Yes.
just went a bit crazy and then
Yeah.
it stopped. So I probably do need to go back and have some more lessons. But yeah, it was a really exciting and eye-opening process. I think it made me, as an adult learner, more empathetic and understanding towards my students because I really could, like, like you were saying about having perfect pitch and then getting annoyed that um, like you could hear
The
that it's
sound is
not
not the
quite.
sound that you want.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, and I think as an adult as well. I mean, if you were like that as a child, then as an adult, I felt it even more so. I think as a child, I was a little bit more blasé and was like, yeah, let's get on and play. Whereas with the cello, I'm like, ooh. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I love it, and it's been really good for me when I've been writing my violin Stringosaurus curriculum to have an idea about the cello, and I still don't feel like I'm able to like transfer the whole Stringosaurus curriculum over to cello yet, because I'm a bit of a perfectionist and I like
Mm.
really want it to be like spot on. But I feel like my understanding has grown, and
Yes. So,
that's
so
exciting.
yeah, so it did take me a while because I'm also not a cello player.
Yeah.
As I said just now, violin was my second instrument. It's my second instrument. I picked up the cello was mainly because I was doing ensemble teaching, and you have to not only teach the violin and the violas, but you also have to cover the cellos as well. And I found it's you can't actually, for me anyway, it's you can't transfer what you know from violin to cello very easily. Like the string direction is different from the bottom to the violin part. Like the low string is through that side, and for the cello the lower string is on the opposite side.
Yeah, yeah,
And then the bow hole is different. So
absolutely.
yeah, people think it's
Um,
the same. It's not the same.
yes, that's right. It is different. Um, and I have to say, actually, there's a really good book. It's called Playing the String Game. Have you ever read that?
No.
Oh, who is it by? It's by someone really famous in America. Dorothy. I should go and have a look. But
Playing the
anyway, Playing the
string
String
game.
Game. You won't. Yeah, just Google it. It's a really, really good book, and
Oh,
it
hang on. This is the one about the tennis thing, right? Or something like that. Is this the one?
Oh no, that's like the inner game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's different. But no, Playing the String Game is an amazing book because it's actually written by a cellist. But then she gives tips for violin, viola, and other strings as well, and that's given me more of a broader like idea from a cello perspective, and then it's given me ideas of how I could extend for a violin perspective. So it's just really interesting reading for me. It's back to front because obviously I'm a violinist, but they're cellist. So I just love it. Yeah, find it really
Yes.
interesting. Very,
Would
very
you
good book.
would you develop into the double bass?
Oh yeah, one day I hope to, but with limited time resources at the
That's
moment.
right.
Yeah, don't know if you ever feel like that, where you feel like life is buzzing around you at top speed. Um,
Yes, I
yeah,
was going to ask you because you're a mother of two as well, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
how do you juggle between family and, your Stringosaurus and teaching and creating all these new ideas? I am not married yet and I don't even have kids, and I feel like it's a bit overwhelming with everything.
Oh, well, I think I'm really lucky because I've got very, very supportive husband, and my girls are very supportive and understanding as well. And like for instance, my husband now has taken both the girls out to have a smoothie so that we can chat uninterrupted. And it's just those kinds of things really make a big difference. And um, I work 3 days a week of teaching, um, but then like on the other 2 days, I'm able to be a mum and work on all my ideas and creativity and get my online resources library up and running and all that kind of thing. And then um, I just got a very strong list of values and priorities, and I just make sure that like the Andy and the girls and families right up at the top, and that then the rest kind of comes down. And sometimes it all gets muddled, but then I
It
always
would.
try and remember what my my order of priorities is. So yeah,
True.
it's not easy,
So,
but I
yeah.
try.
Do you do all the technological side of it yourself, or does your husband help you with that, or?
Yeah, so I mentioned earlier that my husband's a doctor, like your
Mm.
siblings, and but his real passion, well, when I met him, it wasn't really medicine; it was music and DJing. So he's got quite a different, quite a different love of music to me. Although we both love music, so he's into all kinds of electronic music, which when I met him, I thought was completely irrelevant to what I was doing my classical music
Yeah.
performance degree. And I was like, I can't see how this is ever going to be relevant or useful, but that's cool that you like music. It's cool that I like music. But he's proved invaluable actually with his knowledge, so that when I've been recording um, backing tracks using Logic and that type of thing, um, or we've needed to do projects like that, basically he's just been able to like help me master it, help make the piano sound like a Steinway in my dreams.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, it's just an electronic MIDI piano. So you know, all these things really, really useful. So he's been incredibly supportive, um, like that. So yeah,
Has
it's been.
he DJ'd while you had the kids playing on their Stringosaurus?
Oh, do you know, for his grandfather's, I think it was 60th birthday, it might have been 70th. Um, it was a Mexican party. It was still in Wales, and it was before Stringosaurus. And Andy was DJing some beats, and I was playing the Mexican hat dance on my electric violin, and everyone like was dancing, and it was just so surreal. It was just brilliant. But yes, we should definitely do more of that. That would
Yeah,
be
it'd be
fun.
really cool. I think the kids would really love that with your
Oh,
dinosaurs.
I love it. I love it. When I do it, I'll make sure you know.
Yes, please do. Now, for our first run just now, before the video crashed, you kind of showed us how your dinosaurs worked on your violin. So
Yeah,
maybe you could show that, show us
yeah, sure.
again.
So yeah, this is just like I was saying, it's a very inexpensive violin. It's bordering on a violin-shaped object, to be honest, but it's not quite like it works, so it's fine.
Yep.
But this one is more just kind of for play, for kids to just like feel. And these are very young children, so I definitely don't want any Stradivariuses going in
Yes,
with
yes, yes, yes.
dinosaur parts on them.
Also,
But
an advice to parents and teachers not to buy violins from Aldi. Those of you
oh
that are
yeah, no,
in
no, 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 no.
Australia.
Yes, no, no instruments from Aldi, please, guys.
Yes.
It's not just because we're being fussy, it's just because it's so disappointing for a child and frustrating when you get a cheap instrument that is shaped like an instrument, it looks like an instrument, but it really is more of a toy. And
Mm.
like, it's worse than a toy, really. Sometimes a toy lights up and makes sound and works, whereas this literally does nothing. And
No, I had to
mm,
give a student the violins a couple of surgery on it because it just wouldn't work properly. So,
oh my
and it's just
goodness,
not worth that time and money to get instruments from
no,
Audi itself. So
no,
do
no. It's
not
always
get
worth
instruments from Audi. Sorry,
No, go to a
Audi.
music shop. Go to a
Yes.
music shop and try it first. And although, like, obviously, this is a less expensive violin, it's well set up. The bridge has been properly shaped. The pegs work. Everything works. And it's got good strings on it. So you know, it is possible to do things on a budget. But a budget is different to buying rubbish. So that's what I've
Exactly.
got to say on that.
No.
Sensible on a
Yes.
budget. This one,
Yes.
this violin is not a budget. This is
No.
like my beautiful instrument. So hence there is no bits of Velcro on that one. So, but if I want to play the violin for my students, then I would put the little head on here. It's elasticated. And I was showing you earlier how it's like a work of art, honestly. It's just so exquisite and there's so much detail on there. I just love it. And then that just slots onto the scroll then like this. and then I know that I've got like a very beautiful tone quality then and a dinosaur head. And I think I was saying before, it's it's totally about the interactions and the connection that you have with your children. Whether you've got a dinosaur head, a full set of dinosaur parts, or you've just got you and the student and a violin or a stringed instrument or any instrument, it's about the connection and about finding what they connect with. It's, you know, it's not necessarily about what you're bringing, it's what they're interested in, and then all of a sudden you can really target that lesson towards that. And
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
so that's basically Stringosaurus is a starting point to that.
And you were saying that so kids don't bring these home, they only have it during your session with them.
Yes, yeah. So I have got a whole miniature set of these, all
Yeah.
on small eighth quarter violins, 16th violins. Oh, they're so cute. They're downstairs at the moment, all napping in their suitcase. But they get to use them in the lessons. And then when they go home, then they would just use their violins then
The normal
at home.
violins. Yeah.
Um, or sometimes, like the school that I go to, the school pays me to see all their 4 and 5 year olds and just do the lessons in school. But it's more of a kind of introductory session, a bit
Oh,
like what I
okay.
was doing with my mum at home all those years ago with the cassette tapes and the games and everything, but just done it in the class as an introduction so that when they sign up for violin lessons, then they can have like more, they've had
It's
that
more in an
musical
enjoyable
experience.
journey rather than here's the instrument, learn it kind of
Yes, and
thing.
that's right. And it's the school are paying basically, you know, for me to build that rapport and the connection and everything else with the child. So the child like wants to go all the way from, well, it goes right up to year 12 at this school. So, you know, now I've got like year 11 because I've only been there a few years, and he obviously started later and had other teachers before me, but it's just so wonderful to see the kids grow. And
That's
uh,
right.
they start down here and then all of a sudden by year 3 they're taller than me.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now with your lessons, you do group sessions, the ensemble ones, right? The introductory with your Stringosaurus, and on top of that, you also do private tutoring itself.
Yeah.
Am I correct to say that?
Yeah, I'm so
Yeah.
lucky because I have such a variety of teaching experience and or experiences at the moment,
Mm.
and I think it just makes my days so enjoyable and exciting and keeps me on my toes. So I've got the little small groups of 6 to 8 students, and that's like the introductory sessions with the Stringosauruses.
So this
And
would be in your place, or would this be in the school, or
all in the
both?
school,
All
yes.
right.
Yeah. And then um, I also work with whole classes. So I do the whole of pre-primary, the whole of year 1, the whole of year 2, and they've got like 2 to 3 streams of classes. And I team up with the music teacher at the school. She's amazing. And she's just really passionate about music. She's just like the life and the soul of it all. And she supports me in her music class, and we work together and we team it up and we do like whole class sessions then as well. So that's
Okay.
really
So
cool.
it's like a program kind of thing for the term or semester. Is
Yes, for the
that what you're
year,
doing?
the whole of pre-primary, the whole of year 1 and the whole of year 2, so they have like 3 years of it.
Oh, okay. Of
Yeah.
Stringosaurus itself.
Yeah, so it's a mixture. Yeah, so they start off with the Stringosaurus and the
Mm.
pre-primary, and then in year 1 we do a lot of the games and a lot from there, but then we kind of make it into more of an ensemble kind of lesson, and then year 2
Yes.
is all about ensemble.
Yes. That sounds right. Yes. Now, did you originally wanted to be a teacher? Like I know I never wanted to be a teacher when I was younger. I was going to be a veterinarian when I was younger.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yes.
wow. Well, it's never too late.
Oh, no, no, thank you. 7 more years of studies now.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy now being a teacher. It's quite rewarding, and it's still an ongoing learning journey for me, learning off kids and getting new ideas in terms of how you explain things or how you create programs such as your programs as well.
Yeah.
So I guess it's rewarding now as a teacher, but I know back then, I never wanted to be a teacher back then when I
You
was
must be
younger.
pretty passionate about it now after writing your books and being on the Oster board as well.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I love it. What a change. Yeah, no, I was very different. I always knew that I wanted to be a teacher. To start with, I wanted to be a performer, and I dreamt of being the next Nigel Kennedy, and uh, had big dreams and goals in that way. And I still have big dreams and goals, but mine are all teaching dreams and goals.
Yes.
And I do like to play a little bit on the side as a freelance, but not focus myself on performing. So yeah, teaching. I remember when I was maybe in year 5 or 6, I would get my manuscript book, and I love a good manuscript book. It fills me with so much excitement and happiness. And I would just I wanted to make my own stepping stones tutor book, and I think I wrote a piece called The Apple Tree, and it was all open strings, and I was so
Oh, wow.
to teach it to someone, and who could I teach it to? And yeah.
Do you still have it?
Oh my goodness, maybe somewhere. I have got loads of old
Manuscript books that you
manuscripts
can.
and things somewhere. But if I find it, I'll let you know. I'm not sure what it will sound like.
You never know.
Yeah, it's just funny. I couldn't wait to get my first student, to be honest, but I did wait some time.
And you started teaching at age, when did you start teaching?
Well, I first started teaching officially when I was at university. I think I must have been about 20, so quite a lot later. But I spent some time helping my friends that wanted to do youth orchestra auditions and things, and I wanted to give them a bit of a step up and everything. So I went over to their house and was like, let's try this, let's try that.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Oh no, I just found I was in my element. It was just so happy, and there's such a rewarding feeling when someone makes an improvement because of something that you've suggested or something that you've worked out together. And I just loved that feeling. And yeah, my first student was, you always remember your first student, your first official student. And he was just the most delightful man. He was an adult learner, and he used to drive for miles and miles and miles to come to me for a lesson.
Oh, wow.
I know, it was so sweet. And he used to practice, and he was just such a delightful person. And I remember just thinking, wow, this is what's going to come. This is so exciting. And I just loved teaching adults. Some of my best experiences have been teaching adults, actually. But I love teaching children too.
Kids, yeah. That's right. Don't single anyone out. It's great fun. It's great fun teaching, no matter what the age of the student is. I find you do get ideas from whoever that you teach. I can't remember who my first string student is. I can remember teaching my siblings things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm the oldest of 4, and when I was young, I used to draw coloring books. So I draw pictures and have my siblings color them. So yeah, I was quite a creative child in that sense. For those of you that want to know, the characters in my books are drawn by a friend of a friend. And then I do develop on top of that. So I kind of change the graphics from time to time. It is a lot of work to draw, and I don't have that time.
That's right. That's right. I think it's always good to know how much you can take on, even if you're capable of doing it. I
Yeah.
found that when I've tried to take on too much, it's really, yeah, it's not good.
No, no. So
Everybody
it's more
suffers.
of trying to prioritize, like you say, prioritize your family first and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's good to know what the priority is. So for me, even though I'm actually doing my master's with Birmingham City University
Oh, wow.
on teaching and composition. So
Oh,
I'm learning how to teach kids to compose. So if you've had a look of my level one string static, I'm already encouraging kids to write their own music. Like when you were young, you said you wrote your apple tree on
yes.
the open strings. So that's what it is on the book one, on open strings itself. Sorry, my light just fell.
That's all good.
Okay, so yeah, so all this creating and prioritizing, teaching. It's good that teaching was your passion from young. I guess not.
Yeah.
It's not always everyone's passion. Even though mom is a music teacher, I didn't quite enjoy how. I guess I didn't see the different kinds of ways that you could teach someone.
Yes.
So you know how you got your packet of those
Yes.
claves and stuff like that.
Yes.
We never got all those. It's quite a boring, straightforward lesson. So with me coming to Australia, I'm lucky enough to learn all these different techniques like the Kodai method and
Yes.
the Dalcroze and all
Yes.
these little methods, and plus your Stringosaurus method as well. There's so many different ways that one can teach in a
Yeah.
more interactive and fun manner, I guess.
That's right. And the thing is, when we go and we experience these different methods and get all these ideas, it's actually selfishly, it benefits us as teachers as well, because
It
it just makes
does.
teaching so much more rewarding and enjoyable. Like, we're like, oh, it's totally all for the kids. And then it's like, this is so much fun.
It is.
So,
It is.
yeah, it just keeps things fresh for us because I get easily bored. So, if I'm getting bored, then
The
how
kids are
can I?
most likely going to be bored as well. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's right.
right. So, I think it's one of the reasons why I keep um, trying to get professional development and keep like reading blogs and articles and following different people, is because there's always, you can always learn more, and I just find that so exciting.
It is. It is. Like I love learning. And we learn every day, but for me it's more of time that I
Yeah.
don't have.
Yeah.
I'm such a multi-instrumentalist. I play the piano, woodwind, strings as well, and I teach singing as well on top of it. So I would love to learn all these different variations of techniques, and I would love to take ideas from so and so and things like that. But for me it's more of time that I don't have.
Yes,
So it's all I can do is just do the best that I can, and
absolutely.
if there's a music conference and I know or I think that it might benefit me, then I'd attend. So that may be
which um
helpful for everyone else
which
as well.
instrument do you enjoy teaching the most? Because that's quite a wide range. Is there
I
one
know.
that you think, I'm really excited about that one? Is there like one that's secretly your passion?
So I get asked this question a lot.
Oh, sorry.
No, no, not at all, not at all. And I don't know how to answer it because like I like piano. I guess it depends on my mood. Like, sometimes you just feel like playing a Christmas song and you just, rock up on the piano and start playing a Christmas tune kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or sometimes I like playing my clarinet or the violin because I like playing with somebody else kind of thing, or playing in an ensemble. So it really depends on my mood. From time to time, sometimes I do enjoy singing as well, although I don't do that very much anymore. Yeah, so I was introduced to jazz on the clarinet,
Oh, wow.
but then I learned all my instruments in the classical side. So I've achieved all those high grades through the classical means through Trinity College.
Yes.
So not the ABRS and the Trinity one.
Okay.
And but I always secretly liked jazz. So when I first moved to Australia, secretly went to look for a jazz singing teacher while doing my diploma in classical singing. Now, I would not advise this because they are both completely different. They
Yes,
have
opposite.
completely different techniques. So
Yes,
that I found at that time was really difficult because of the different techniques moving from the classical side to the jazz side, and I had to put jazz aside so that I can finish my diploma in
fair
classical
enough.
singing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Gosh.
yeah, I don't know. It really depends on my mood.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I think you've got one there for every different feeling and mood that you need, like that you
Yes.
experience. That's
Yeah, so
great.
it's like, when someone asks me what kind of genre you like to listen to, I'm like,
Oh,
I don't know. It depends on
yeah,
my mood.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sometimes if I'm angry, I'll listen to angry music. I don't know.
at all. Ooh,
Yeah, yeah,
love it.
that's right. So, what advice would you give teachers out there looking for ideas of teaching differently?
Um, do you know what? I would just say, just try and really listen to and notice things. So it might not be just listening, but notice things about the student, especially if you're on an individual small group scenario and you've got enough time. Uh, by making those kind of little connections with perhaps what they're wearing or how they're acting or anything like that, you might be able to have a completely different lesson where they're much more open or they've got more energy because you've connected with them or they feel more understood. So I'd be just really trying, especially if you're new and you're really focused on impressing the parents, impressing the people around you, wanting to get the results. um, think about why the child is with you, and most often it's because they love music or they love the violin, or they really um, just want to explore that hobby. And it often is a hobby, and I think we should always teach really high levels of technique, whether it's a hobby or not. That's like definite.
Most
But
definitely, yeah.
this might be like one of the only moments that that child has got like a small group or a one-on-one with an adult that week, because if their parents are super busy, um, or they've only heard their name as they've been called out on the register, you know they may not have experienced that feeling of connection. And so
Mm.
I think if you go into the lesson and you realize just how important like this is right now for that child, that might be the highlight of their week. It might not be, but it could be. And
So, like the instrument itself is important to teach, but like you
massively.
said, it's important to make that connection with the child so that teaching is easier. I think I find, and
Yeah,
then like whatever they do in their daily activities, they can kind of make that connection with music,
yeah,
and it would be it's kind of interesting. Like they would take an activity that they've done and kind of link it to what we were explaining in the musical sense,
yes.
and that's where all the ideas come in, I guess.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I just think if if you or I, if we don't feel understood, then immediately there's not that feeling of trust. There's that feeling of like almost loneliness of, and you might be working one on one with them. So like to be understood, you need to know what they want to achieve, what they want from their lessons, what their interests are, what's been going on this week, all these kind of things. Because I've had some experiences where I've noticed that, and it's very hard to tell sometimes if you've got a shy student, but I could tell that the shy student was even shyer than normal, and something had happened, and you know the mum had gone to hospital, and it was only because we'd built up so much trust and that I was able to notice a tiny little difference that, she felt safe enough to be able to tell me what had happened. So, it's these kind of things where obviously you hope that nothing is going to be happening at home or whatever. But I think we just have to look at the bigger picture, and always just prioritize our students as human beings first, and then the learning will just come so
That's
much
right.
easier.
Yeah.
And I think that's what helps, to stop students from quitting, because before, when I first started out, I was like, right, I've got half an hour, we're going to get through
Yeah.
this. And then their violins would be out of tune, and I'd be like, oh no, the time is ticking, quick,
Yes.
like, no talking.
No. If
We've only
only.
got 10 minutes left and we haven't started. And like whereas, if I was a bit more relaxed, and it's about balance, isn't it?
It is. So like I allow the kids for my lesson, I allow the kids to be a bit funny and sneaky and stuff like that. But then, there's a time where hang on, okay, let's come back
Oh
to
yes.
focus. And then okay, now you can tell me what happened in during the week, or what happened today in school after we finish playing the song, kind of thing. So there's kind of interaction. So at least the parents don't see that they're kind of wasting their money on
No,
therapy and that sort of
that's
thing.
right. And I think, just having really good communication as well with the parents, it does
Yes.
make such a huge difference. And that's one thing that I've noticed, is that if I'm in touch with them and constantly keeping them up to date, at the end of each lesson, I actually, because the parents don't come into school for the lessons, and they don't see what the child's doing, and we're not allowed to film the child, for their safety at school. So, at the end of a lesson, as they're packing away, I'll do a quick video summary where I'm able to zoom into the different angles. Literally only 2 minutes as they pack away, and then I send that to the parents so that they can refresh their minds, I say, so that they can have a go at home, in between. And I say, look, even if you've just watched the video a few times just to see, that would still be better than not, doing
Not
anything.
understanding or knowing it at all, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So, but then I would normally write as I send it how they've done, and that type of thing. So it does take a couple of minutes extra, but I really find that those kind of things of keeping in touch, and, giving as much, like, different different ways to learn things.
Yeah,
So
I mean, if the parents have time to get involved, then it will be fantastic, and it does help. If
massively.
if they don't have that time, then that's fine. We only try our best as a teacher to help the child as best as we can. But
Exactly, that's
yeah,
right.
it does help if a parent knows how to keep an eye on the kid when they're practicing at
That's
home.
right. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what those videos are for, is just to really explain so that they can visually see as well as hear.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, great, Laura. It's great having you on my monthly
Oh, thank you.
broadcast. It is a bit of a coincidence that our first initials are the same.
Elsie.
Elsie and our baby's strings.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I
cute, aren't they?
I do have my Susie here.
Oh, let's have
And
a
yes,
look.
I made her. So I made
You.
Susie. Yeah, I did. I made her because there's not a lot of cute koalas out there, and I found her a bit bulky, so I've made a mini
Oh,
Susie as well.
oh my goodness. I
Yes.
really feel like this is just like the best thing ever, where Stringosaurus meets Susie.
Susie, yes. One day when we can travel between borders.
Yes, exactly. It will be a big celebration. It'll be really cool.
It would be, it would be. Well, I'm looking forward in meeting you in person, wherever it may be.
Yes, me too. I'm looking forward to meeting you, Lorraine.
Yes, and we'll keep in touch, yeah?
Definitely,
All right,
definitely. And
so,
yeah, we'll see you soon. Thank you for
right.
having me.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.